Hello, everyone. Happy day. Happy Monday. And welcome to a conversation in regards to career mapping and business mapping. How was your weekend? Were you productive? Did you catch up on any of the previous sessions? Did you get up to date in regards to tracking your goal achievement? Yes, the challenge is over. It ended at end of day Friday going into Saturday, but at the same time, I also incented and challenged you to even continue using it and doing it through tomorrow's session at noon. And if so, and you're taking a photo of it and posting it, we'll be sure to give you a nice little prize, including I have like 1 or 2 Amazon gift cards to still give away, along with copies of Shedding the Corporate Bitch, along with our Shift to Riches journal. All you need to do is invest in you and put in the time and really kind of consider what it is that you have been dreaming about. Dream big, because then you can always distill it down into some nice, manageable, and achievable goals, of which turns into action plans, of which you could also leverage your vision, of which we talked about in our Turning Your Vision into Victory on Tuesday. Of course, then we got into your SMART goals and asked you to even consider what are the 1, 2, or 3 traits of highly successful people that you might want to start instilling and acting on. So you too can be one of those highly successful people. We've also discussed productivity hacks, went through 9 of them. And even on our Q&A on Saturday, Deidre had pointed out that we overlooked a big one, which was revenue generation. So we went into detail in the Q&A session on Saturday. And then Friday, we also dove into the 5 steps toward riches. So the Shift to Riches formula of discover, confront, to shed, so you can create and accelerate. You'll have to take a view of that session to really get all the details and all the meat behind each one of those. Now, those 5 steps are something that, yes, the session is certainly going to give you a good chunk of content that you could be using right now for you to take on those 5 steps. But it's also kind of the foundation of our 12-month Shift to Rich Accelerator program. That is an individual and group masterminding session that that you can certainly leverage within your everyday. All right, so take a watch for that as well. Now, I had mentioned to you over the weekend, over the last several days, that I have definitely been dealing with some personal challenges around trees falling and transformers blowing and electricity and AC non-existent, which it isn't still. So I had the generosity of a neighbor to give me a long extension cord, so I have a fan blowing. And Deborah or Carissa can tell me if that fan is noisy or disrupting the stream. But in case we are appearing choppy or we are appearing kind of in and out, I'm going to apologize for that right up front. I am working off of a hotspot from my phone. So we'll see how sensitive and how effective and productive that is. Although we've been using it over the last couple of days since I haven't had electricity. So let's keep our fingers crossed that our conversation regarding career mapping and business mapping, comes across just fine. All right. So I was mentioning the Shift to Riches Accelerator, and that's going to be our conversation tomorrow. Is going, a deep dive underneath the covers of the Shift to Riches Accelerator. But we will, go through it briefly this afternoon, because you have an opportunity as well that if you have a question, if you need more information in regards to the accelerator, or even if you have a question or a challenge when it comes to your career, your business, or your life, be sure to reach out. And so schedule some time. You see the link right there for this particular accelerator call that you could be scheduling. And it's a 30-minute call of which we're going to dive right into answering any questions that you have, any information that you need. And if you are dealing with something, I am there to provide you some tips, advice, and guidance as far as getting on track or moving forward. So you can go to tiny.cc/Excel call in order to schedule some time with me. And again, ask for help, which is the foundation of our conversation with career mapping and business mapping. So first off, let's just, if you're out there, say hell yeah. Let me know that you're there. Let me know that you're on. I have mentioned the last couple of days too, and it could be because of the way I'm having to kind of connect into Ecamm through this hotspot. Or it could be if you didn't authorize Ecamm to use your name and your profile picture, you may not come across when I see you in the chat room. I may not see your picture or your name. And it says add to broadcast, which I'm just going to. So if you are out there, just even put your name and say, hey, in the comment section so I know that you are out there. And I know Chris and Deborah are going to be out there if they're not already. I suspect at least, well, I think both of them are because I saw comments from both of them across my phone. So just let us know. Hell yeah. You can use Accelerate as we're moving into the acceleration phase. And around career mapping and business mapping today, you can even use #mapping. But I do have a gift card to give away at the end of the session if you're still on. So be sure to let us know that you are. Okay? All right, I was getting into the career mapping and business mapping. I want to ask you, what did you think as I've been, positioning that out there? What do you think it's about? What do you think career mapping and business mapping is all about? Now, I did mention in a few of those communications that business mapping is not business planning. So this isn't a conversation for entrepreneurs about how to plan out their business. This is something different and yet very powerful, regardless of where you are in your journey from a career perspective or your business. So from a career perspective, you might be making decisions about, well, I've been a stay at home for whatever reason, and I want to go back into the workforce. I haven't even been in the workforce for quite some time. So I need to do some mapping in order to really get a good, full view of what it is that I need to be doing. The other thing might be that you want to make a career change. Maybe you're in a role, function, industry, sector that no longer really ignites your passion. And so you want to make a whole different career change. Maybe you're looking for an advancement and you want to move into a whole different, whether it be a functional area in an advancement or even just a elevated area. And therefore there's, different skills and different things that you should be looking at. Okay. It could be that you want to move from corporate and become an entrepreneur. So we're going to address that within the career mapping part, but then, you're definitely going to want to listen in to the business mapping piece and vice versa, because you're going to be able to pick out even things within each of these maps that you might consider for your own overall goal. I'll put it. Okay. But so it could be for people that are considering going from corporate to having their own business. It could be that you're, in a business working for someone. So you're in corporate or just business as a whole, and you're looking to retire. Maybe not today, maybe 3, 5, 10 years ago. And yet right now you do want to start putting some things in place to help you get to that end goal. Okay. And then from a business perspective, you could be in the stage of starting, managing, or growing your business. And you may have done some of this mapping and or you may not have done any of this mapping. And that's all okay. That's why I'm bringing this to you, because I do get a lot of questions around just the elements of these maps that we're going to talk about. Okay. And it also leads into and is a huge foundation of the Shift to Riches Accelerator. Is exactly what we do from a community, from a group, from a mastermind perspective. So we'll get into all that. So what is this mapping that I'm talking about? This is all about, first off, what you want to write down, and if Carissa or Deborah can, or Carissa can pose it in the chat. This is all about growing. It's all about community. It's all about connection and networking. It's all centered on your goal, but it's all about people and community and support. The mapping really is a series of questions, and then the answer to those questions being very specific, and we'll talk through that, of what you can do and how you can look at proactively. So that's what I actually want someone, if Carissa can hashtag it or put it in the comments. This is all about proactive planning. Because if you can get ahead of what it is that you're working on and what it is you're trying to achieve, then it's going to help you kind of handle all of those obstacles, all of those hiccups, all of those interruptions, distractions, and challenges that are going to come towards you. All right, because again, anything that you're wanting to really achieve is going to be hard, and it's going to provide those highs and lows, those ebbs and flows. So this is all about you taking time to map this out so you can do some proactive planning. All right. Now, all right, so we're going to start with career and then go into the business mapping. But again, the career professionals can listen to the business mapping and vice versa, and even take from it, because they're a little bit different in regards to their approaches and the questions that you're going to ask yourself and the information you want to gather. But if you have your journal and your pen out that you can scribble out, what I want you to do is we're going to almost build a wheel without the outside frame. So you're going to put like a circle in the middle, and then you're going to have a bunch of spokes that are going to come out. Okay. Now, what sits in the middle is, I'm going to tell you to pick one. So one of your big dreams converted into a goal, one of your SMART goals, go right in the middle of that. So again, it could be that you have a SMART goal specified and measured and all that we talked about on Wednesday. You can go back to that lesson. And it might be about you going back to work, and you should have a goal around that. It might be the fact that you're wanting to make a career change. You're wanting to leave corporate, go into business on your own, or retire. Any number of goals. Put that in the circle in the middle of the page. All right. And then as I ask you to write down each of these questions, you can then create a spoke coming out of, thank you. Thanks, Carissa. Then you can create a spoke coming out. And give yourself enough room that when you have the spoke coming out, you have space underneath it to then put some information underneath it. And you'll understand in just a minute. Okay, so I want you to first go straight up out of that circle of your goal, and think about, as it pertains to your goal, always going back to your goal, going back to your goal, going back to your goal. Who do you aspire to be or to be like as a result of you achieving this goal? So for instance, if you're looking to make a career change, right? If you're looking to go from stay-at-home into the workforce, if you're looking to, change your career as a whole, totally, or the industry sector role that you're in, you're looking for an advancement, have an idea. Remember, it's your vision, right? So part of your vision we talked about, like map out and model out, and in this case, map, but who are you aware of? Who do you know, not personally maybe, that has done what you've done? And, especially if they were successful in achieving that goal of that career move, or that leaving corporate or retiring, whatever the case might be. So think about who do you aspire to be as a result of you achieving your goal? So again, it's that vision, knowing the end state, although right now, you're going to be taking steps toward achieving smaller milestones toward that bigger goal. But you want to think about and literally list, so you can. And if you don't know anyone in this space, in this question, then this is where, if it's blank, you start doing research, getting an idea of, okay, who do I aspire to be? You're not looking to be that person, but you're looking to kind of aspire to take those steps and to make those changes and have that courage and have that support system and have done that research based on that person was successful in achieving their goal. And there'll be a reasoning for all of this because, again, proactive planning. Okay? So after you've thought through that, and that's focus coming right out from the top of the goal circle, I want you to think about, because this is important, this one's a biggie. Who could I be learning from? Because, unless you're like being forced out of the job market or out of the company or out of your role, you have time to really consider, who could I be learning from? So you identify who those people are, even if you don't know them. Again, even if you don't know them. Because then we're going to talk about the fact that you can now do, homework and research and take steps and actions to, now that you've identified all the answers to these questions, you can now take steps to engage and leverage all of these individuals to help you achieve your, in this case, your career goal. Okay, so who could I be learning from? Now, this is a fabulous question. So, for instance, I'm a coach, right? And I'm a specific type of coach. At the same time, I'd rather be learning from and emulating, coaches and consultants from other sectors, from other industries, from other expertise and skill set areas. Whether it has to do with how they coach, how they, work with their clients, how they deliver their service, how they show up, how they, bring truth and integrity and honesty to the job. But it also could be that you want to learn how they're so good at marketing themselves. They're so good at selling themselves. They're so good at building a team. They're so good at, handling all the different functions of a business. They're so good at making decisions, taking risks, whatever the case might be that you've identified from your goal. That obviously, there's going to be things that you're bringing to the table, but there's going to be things that you really need to, acquire as you go. Remember, we're not looking for perfection here. You're not looking to make a career change because you're already there. That gap that we talked about the other day. There's going to be a gap between where you are now and where you're going. Because if not, then you should have already be there and beyond. And therefore, your dream's not big enough. All right? So go back, I believe it was it yesterday? Yes, it might have been yesterday in Words Matter that we talked about this gap. But in this case, who could I be learning from to gain the skills, gain the knowledge, do the things that you want to be doing in order to achieve this goal? So that's an important question. Who could I be learning from after you've already considered, who do I aspire to be like? So now you have kind of a role model, right? A role model. The next one would be, who can I be mentored by? Who can I be mentored by? We can have a whole other conversation, and actually I made a note of it from the other day. We can have a whole conversation, and I'll do a video and post it, but about coaches, the difference between coaches, mentors, sponsors, or advocates, especially within the business world, the corporate business world. But so you want to be thinking about, who can I be mentored by? And again, these are specific people, whether you know them or not, whether you're close to them or not, whether you're engaged with them or not. So for instance, in corporate or in a business environment, you definitely want to find somebody, again, who you aspire to be like, who has some knowledge and expertise and polish that you're looking for, who can guide you and help you with problems that you need to solve, decisions you need to make, risks you need to take, so forth and so on. Okay. And you should go, out and look for them. I've had a mentor, every point in my life, I've always had a mentor. And I would say, and since I was like in kindergarten, it was Sister Claire. She just took me under her wing, to handle, not only am I a middle child of 12, but just to handle, even I remember her, was getting beaten up by this one kid, and she's like, "Oh, he likes you. He's just showing he likes you." I'm like, "Well, I'm about to kill him." Anyway, so you want to be looking out for mentors. Now, these are also questions and steps and actions you should be taking that a lot of people, from a career perspective, don't consider, and therefore you really need to. You really need to. So, who can I be mentored from? Who can be my sponsor or advocate? Different from a mentor or a coach. The mentor, you can also throw in coach if you want to. They're a little bit different, which again we could talk about on another thing. But throw in coach and mentor, and then who can be a sponsor or an advocate. And again, in corporate, that's very different than mentors and coaches, and they're critical. If you have a goal, that that middle part, it's critical that you have a sponsor or an advocate, because there are people that talk for you and talk about you when you're not in the room. They proclaim you, they talk you up, they advocate for you to be promoted, to be given new assignments, and they do it without even you knowing it, that they're doing it. So we can get into all of that at another time. Okay. So make a note. So now you have, we're down to 4. So you have all these 4 spokes coming out of that middle goal. Who do I aspire to be? Who can I learn from? Who can I be mentored by? Who could be my sponsor / advocate? The next one would be, who can hold me accountable? And this is where mentors and even coaches differ. Mentors aren't there to hold you accountable. Mentors are there to mentor you, to give you guidance, to give you their wisdom, to give you their lessons and their best practices, and to help you navigate your career progression. Whereas an accountability partner is someone who you say you're going to do something, and they're going to kind of follow up and make sure that you're doing it, and ask you and challenge you as to why you have or haven't. They're going to motivate you, cheer you on, so forth and so on. So think about, again, whether you know them now or know them or aren't familiar with them yet, who can hold me accountable? Because what you're going to do as we go through all this, what you're going to do is you're going to realize you don't know some of these people. You're not regularly engaged with them. You never thought about asking Joe to be, an accountability partner. You never considered that, you need to go and ask, the big boss or the boss's boss to be a mentor or a sponsor. They're going to turn into actions that you're going to take in order to achieve this goal. But they're all about relationships. They're all about community. They're all about masterminding and support. Okay. Let's see. The next one would be, okay, so now you have that, who can hold me accountable. Again, I should say, when it comes to the coach or the accountability or even the learning from, it could be a personal professional. It could even be a kind of a expert professional, such as a professional coach or consultant or whomever. All right. So you're not looking to have the answers, do any of the, connecting just yet. You're just trying to map out all the circle of influence that you should have in order for you to achieve your goal. Okay. Another big one. And this one we might be on the left side, moving to the left side of your wheel with the spokes. But who can I mastermind with? This is huge. This is something that more business entrepreneurs do than business professionals, career professionals do, is mastermind. And what this really is, and I've been doing it. I did it in corporate to a degree because I sat on a lot of boards and was part of a lot of associations. So I had the benefit and the honor to be part of masterminding. But I certainly have since I left corporate. and I've been on my own. And and I find that entrepreneurs are accustomed to seeking out, individuals to mastermind with than career professionals. But it's a huge value to you, um, as part of your career path progression plan. Okay, so make it a part of your map. But who can you mastermind with? Basically, what that means is that it's a group of people, and you're always looking to up level all of this. All of these people are who you're aspiring to be, what you're aspiring to be, what you're aspiring to do, what you're aspiring toward. Not to say there's anything wrong with your peers, yet if you're looking to go up, and to learn up and to level up, so your peers aren't going to be able to do that for you. So you have to seek out those people that are already where you want to be. So you seek out a group of people. It could be 4, 6, 8, 12. You don't want to get really much bigger than that. But 6 to 8 is a really good number. A lot of them will start with 12 or 15 and then people fall off. But you get together with a group of people. You reach out to them and say, hey, look, we seem to be on the same path, have the same, have the same objectives, goals. It might be in totally different industries, departments, or divisional areas of your organization. It might be different parts of your personal community. And yet at the same time, they have skills, expertise, knowledge, experience, creativity that you may not have. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking to, fill in the gap, towards your next rung on the ladder, so to speak. And so you're looking to bring together a group of people that you could be masterminding, which is sharing what it is you're working on, sharing it, what's working, what's not working, what ideas, what opportunities, and you just are all masterminding, brainstorming, challenging, strategizing together to help you move, yourself forward. Your peers are on the same level you are, right? Yes, they are. So thank you for asking that. Yes, peers are considered the same level. So what you're looking for is people in different levels. Now, keep in mind, I'm glad someone asked that, and I can't tell who asked it. So if you want to throw your name out there, hello. But so the other thing too about this is, they may have the same title. So say I used to mastermind with other consultants, and executive VPs in corporate from other industries, not even in my company, but that's a path you can take, is find other, especially women, find other women, but also pepper in some men there that would benefit as well and see the value of coming together and brainstorming, masterminding, strategizing toward what career goal that they have for themselves. Now, don't have a knee-jerk reaction to say, oh, well, who's going to want to do that? Or why would they want to do that with me? Or I'm not at the same level as they are, so why would they do it? You just need to build that case, that business case. We talked about this a couple of days ago. You want to build that business case as to why you're looking to put together this mastermind to do these things for the benefit of X, Y, and Z that will help each of us, achieve our goal. And, I'm looking to you because of your skills, your experience. So there's a business case that you can be building. And we do a lot of this within the Shift to Riches Accelerator. As clients, they come to me, and if they're in the career world, but business as well, we sit down and we create these maps for them to then take and start working toward. All right. So masterminding, for you entrepreneurs, you know this, but if you don't know this, you should. And that's okay that you don't, but make note, because masterminding is definitely a critical part of what entrepreneurs should be doing as well. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. So another spoke for your career is who is doing what you want to be doing. So say you have this goal, and depending upon what it is, if you're going to go back to work, you want a career change, you want an industry change, you want an advancement, you want to move from corporate to business, you want to retire, whatever the case might be. So different than who do you aspire to be that we talked about, to be like, because that is just somebody who looks, feels, does, so forth and so on, what you aspire to do yourself. But this is more like who's doing something that you want to be doing. So who's, in this case, who is a high potential, who is taking the steps, getting the training, getting the leadership development, getting the mentoring, the sponsorship, doing those things that they know are going to advance their career and allow them to achieve their goal. But at the same time, it could be more tactical, more technical, I'll call it, because it could be that you're in one functional role, and yet you aspire, you're goaled to want to go and do something else. Use your skills that you have and the expertise and the experience you have, and or you're looking to gain those skills and then do what's necessary in order for you to be able to move toward doing what someone else is doing. So identify them. And this is going to be very easy when it comes to within your company. It could be outside your company, but also in your company, if that's where you decided that there's something that you could be doing that you're not currently, and therefore that's your goal. So identify those people who are doing what it is that you want to be doing, and as you make that list, every one of these are going to be people lists. But then they get turned into, okay, what do you need, and what is it about these people that you need to be doing to fill that gap? Okay, and again, we mentioned the gap is not a bad thing. It's knowledge, right? It's proactive knowledge, so you can proactively plan as to what you need to do to fill that gap. So who's doing what you want to be doing? You make the list of those people. Now, lastly. And I go back and forth with this because I see them different, but yet some of my clients kind of vacillate back and forth and don't necessarily see it clearly. But so I'm going to throw it out to you, and if you do, great, and answer this one too. So we had mentioned the very first one is, who do I aspire to be like? But you might also look at, who do I admire and respect? Now, why I say that I see it differently is because you may admire and respect someone for their qualities and traits and overall being, but you're not necessarily aspiring to be like them, maybe in their role or in their successes or whatever the case might be. You admire and respect them, and yet you're not necessarily going down that path. So think about that, because there's also when you go to identify those people. And a lot of times in this space, it's going to be, personal, people that you know, at least have a familiarity with. But at the same time, a lot of them, when it comes to my clients, a lot of them will all of a sudden, especially if they are vision board individuals, they'll all of a sudden start identifying celebrities or, very famous, known business people or creative people or whatever the case might be. Yet there's qualities and traits of these individuals or lifestyles of these individuals that they admire and respect. So then our next conversation gets into, okay, so what is it about them that you admire and respect? What is it about these people that you aspire to be like? Why is it you want to learn from this, from this group of people, specifically each one of these people? So making note of what it is that you want to learn, because now that's, fill in that gap of, okay, so I want to learn X, Y, and Z. Didn't think of that before. And there's a lot of aha moments when it comes to this career map that many of my clients go through, and I wouldn't be surprised if you do as well, because again, a lot of career professionals do not consider all of these different questions and all these different lists of people that could be supporting you. Okay, so that would be your career map. Now you might add a question or two. So when you listen to the business map, consider if there's something in the business map that you could put up into the career map, because they're very similar, but yet they have their differences. Okay, so If you're out there, say hi. Let me know if you have any questions in regards to that. And again, if you are, and I just can't see your name and your lovely face, then be sure I know, so I could also be giving away Amazon gift card at the end of the session. All right. Um, but if not, oh well, we'll have to do it again, tonight or tomorrow. Okay, so your business map. So for those business owners, entrepreneurs out there, which however you want to call yourself, here's the same wheel. So you have your middle part is your goal. Come up with one of the goals that you have for your business. Okay? And define that. Hopefully you translate it into a SMART goal. You don't have to put all the detail into this middle wheel on your map. Just kind of highlight it if you want to, or you could spell it out specifically. So this is another place that you can lean back on and ensure that everything about what it is that you're doing each and every day and why you're doing it all leads back to your goals. There are a lot of aha moments you can have when you create a career wheel map. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Excuse me. I'm going to try to get myself a little bit more comfortable here. Okay, so we're going to get into the business map for business owners out there. All right. So whether you're in your business managing it, or you're now on the growth trajectory, you might have to ask the question of yourself of who is doing what I want to be doing. Now, that doesn't mean it's about your business. So if you're a lipstick manufacturer, I'm not saying that all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to become a USB manufacturer and therefore I'll go look at who's doing what I'm doing. It could be who's leading, the way that you want to be leading, who is writing, blogging, social media, content creating, brand influencing. It could be how they're building their team. I run into it all the time where I'll find individuals that are doing what I want to be doing. I'm not changing my business. I just want to get to that, to that phase, to that stage of my business, and therefore I'm always looking, always looking for those people that I can up level toward. I might not be there now, but that's what I want to work toward. So who is doing what you want to be doing in any way, shape, or form? If it is a whole business move, or maybe you're in your early stages of a business and I'm really not wanting to, maybe you're a coach, consultant, speaker, and I really don't want to be doing the consulting anymore. I'm just going to stay in the space of coaching and speaking. That's just an easy example, because that was a decision that I made. I used to be probably 75% consulting, 25% coaching, no speaking. That lasted for, well, the heavy consulting lasted for a number of years, but the no speaking only lasted about a year or two. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. I want to bring down the consulting quite a bit. I want to increase the coaching, and I want to insert speaking. And then in the past 6 months to 9 months, the consulting's almost, down to a minimal, because I absolutely love the coaching, and then this, the speaking, and then the radio and podcasting, so forth and so on. So who's doing what you want to be doing? Okay. Who is doing what I am? Okay. And who can I learn from? So now that you've identified that somebody's doing what you want to be doing, obviously you also want to kind of be conscious and self-aware and pay attention to who they are, because you want to learn from them too. Now, all of this, even from the career mapping perspective, and I was going to touch on it as we summed up both of them, but I'll say part of this now is now you have this list of people, or maybe they're businesses. In this case, for the entrepreneurs, maybe you're listing businesses as opposed to the individual who's running the business. And so now what you would want to be doing is now taking action on that, reaching out, and asking these individuals, getting to know them, build a relationship, and then work your way into, trying to learn from them and being mentored by them. And again, I'll kind of sum up our conversation after we get through the business map as to what you do next after you have this map. All right, but this is critical, especially for entrepreneurs. I don't know about you, and I was a really smart, very successful corporate executive professional. I didn't know how to run a business. I thought I did, because I was running a lot of different functional, areas and responsibilities in corporate. But boy, when you get out and you're on your own, a whole different ball game, a whole different ball game. So who do you want to learn from? Okay, list them all. You're not going to go after all of them all at once. Again, we always are going to go back to you have your goals, you have your action plan, you have your priorities based on what's going to get you, closer to that goal, and therefore then you can, pick off from these lists who and what you want to go after first. All right, who do you want to learn from? Big question, because we always need to be learning from someone or something. We always need to be. We do not know everything, or we wouldn't be where we are. Okay? Now, who can help you is a huge question that entrepreneurs need to ask, as opposed to career professionals could ask this question, but you entrepreneurs out there, you really need to be asking this question: who can help me? It could be team members, but it also could be, partners. It could be just advisors. It could be a coach. It could be a mentor. But we need help. Running our own businesses, entrepreneurs, you need help. So who can help you? And again, you're going to get the list of names or businesses. And then, you're going to go to the next level and say, okay, what is it that you want to learn from them, and or what is it that they can help you with? Getting specific, because then when you go to the next step of approaching them, you want to have all that information for them so they know. So who can help you? Big question. And you need help, so don't be proud, and don't kind of, oh, I'm good. Don't automatically dismiss this because you think, okay, help means money that I have to spend. I had my first 4 years of my business. So from 2009, not necessarily 2008, but from 2009 to about 2013, 14, I had a team of 19 plus people on my team. I only paid for 2 of them. I had a whole org chart of people, of a team, but only 2 of them required or wanted to be paid. The others were strategic partners. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Were people who wanted to be part of what it was that I was doing, and they were offering their help, their learnings, their teachings, their best practices, even their time and expertise. So be open and consider who could help you. You might think about who can you help, but we'll worry about that after you get through this first map, because there is a next level of, okay, so obviously this is a give and take. This isn't all about taking, and you have expertise and smarts and best practices and lessons learned too. So how can you reciprocate, and how can you also help and teach other people as well? We always need to be learning. Yes, we do. Who do you want to learn from? All right. Again, very similar to the career map. Who can mentor you? Who do you know in your circle? And it's loose. Who are you aware of in your already current circle, or you don't even know them, and yet they have something that you feel could be a good mentor, good coach, good sponsor, or good advocate. Now, sponsors and advocates aren't necessarily ones from a entrepreneur business perspective. They are in that, for instance, I have a sponsor within a corporate organization that I coach, and she is at very senior level. She's a senior VP of HR, and she sponsors me into other parts of the business where they need coaching. Okay, so that is from a entrepreneur's perspective. That is a way to have a sponsor. It's different from a career mapping or career perspective. Is, you do have a sponsor and they are speaking for you, right? They're not necessarily hiring you. They're not necessarily assigning you, but they are advocating for you and sponsoring you for opportunities that you might be able to pursue. Similar yet different. So consider who could be who could I be mentored by? Who could I be coached by? Who could I be sponsored by? You might have sponsors, little different, because these are actually paid, but you could have sponsors, advertisers, marketers, brands that, sponsor and uh, uh, market for you. So be careful of that word, because sponsorships or sponsors in an advertising media perspective, content creation perspective, is a little different than it is from a kind of mentoring development perspective. Who can hold you accountable? Entrepreneurs, you need to be held accountable. And don't, I'm sorry, but I haven't found one yet that doesn't need to have someone there holding them accountable to all the big plans and objectives and action plans that they have in front of them. Because it's hard. It's a lot to be the captain of your own ship, and making sure that you're always staying on course. So you always want to ensure that you have someone holding you accountable. Mastermind, very similar to the career again. Mastermind, business owners, this is huge for you. Finding people that are not only in your business, but are in businesses that, maybe if you're starting a business, you find people to mastermind that's been in business for 2, 3, 5 years. If you're already in business 3 or 5 years, you're looking for people that have been in business for 7 or 9 or longer years, because that's the direction that you're going, is to build, build, build. So get some people. If you're not really good at branding, but you're really good at strategy or business planning, well, find the people to put in the mastermind that complement and have the skills and the learnings that you want, and therefore you also in turn have skills and learnings for them, and that those are the individuals that you could be putting into your mastermind. 6, 8, 12, which will then get called back. There's a lot of networking groups out there. They're not masterminds, but business owners and entrepreneurs understand that, but they're not the same as masterminds. So you want to use a collective community of brains and experience and hard knocks in order for you to then grow and be able to accomplish your goal. You then have more specific, you want to be thinking about, okay, so who could I partner with? Who could I be an affiliate with? Who could I be a referral partner with, or they could be for me? And you start pulling that together as well, and start making that list, that over time you're going to go and look. And business partner, I don't mean someone that's going to, necessarily come on board and be your business partner. Although if you're in that position, that's definitely going to be one list you're going to want to consider proactively. Remember, this is proactive planning. So you might consider that. But at the same time, what I mean by partner is you may have, and some people will call them, affiliates at that point, but that's even a little bit less formal. But I have a number of strategic partners, not as much today as I did even 2 years ago. But we basically had agreements with each other, written, contracted agreements that we are going to, if I got some work, they were going to come in because, they have a complementary skill set or expertise or area that they work in, or maybe they have a team that can, kind of come in with me to be a supporting arm of the business, and therefore, we can be strategic partners together. Now, affiliates are more like, well, maybe they have a product or a service that you want to offer and you don't have it, and therefore you develop an affiliate relationship where there is a compensation agreement in there of how you would get paid and or how they would get paid, and yet at the same time, it's allowing you to augment your own products and services with complementary ones that would serve your customers better. Deborah and Carissa, yes, yeah, we probably might. It doesn't appear on my side like it would on Facebook Live when there's disruptions. I'm coming through very clearly throughout. But yes, maybe because of my hotspot, it is creating an issue. So let's hope that the actual recording, if need be, the actual recording that Ecamm will create when we're done will be smooth, and therefore I can share that if necessary. But thank you for letting me know that. Okay, I understand that live you might be just getting snippets. Hey, Lynn Hubbard, how are you? Or that might have been something that Deborah sent out. I can't tell. So we're gonna do our best and to get through this, and then we'll make sure that the recording is as clean as possible. Keep our fingers crossed, and we'll get it out. Okay. So you have the partners, referrals, affiliates, and then the big question too for business owners is, who do I want on my team? Again, these might not be W-2s. They might be 1099s, or they may not even be people that are compensated. They're people that really love what it is that you're doing, and they want to be part of your team. They want to do some role or function that you need or that's necessary, and they choose to come on board, and maybe you have some sort of an arrangement and agreement with them, but they want to be part of your team. Now, the team should also, and actually I'll make a note because this is a good subject to also cover, is your team is going to be your org chart, okay? But it's going to go beyond your org chart, because I consider, I have my clients very early on, especially if they're business owner clients, I have them put me on their org chart. So there's typically not a space for a coach or a referral partner or a strategic partner or a vendor. I didn't mention vendors, and I should. So business owners, you need to make a list of who could be your vendors that you're not working with now, but your goal, whatever that is, you're going to want to ensure you're considering what vendors you want to be working with as well. So all of these elements of people can become part of your team. So consider, who do you want as part of your team, specifically by name and or by role and function. Because if you have to do research because you don't have anybody, because you've never given thought to this before, that's fine, absolutely fine. So put what type of person or role or expertise or experience it is that you want as part of your team, and then you could do the research and the work to work toward it. All right. So both of these, like I said, you're building a list of actual people, and or if you don't know them, the role or the function. But now your next step is to, let's take a sponsor, for instance, for a career. Now your next step is to you have the people identified. Now you want to start building a relationship. You don't want to start going right away and asking them, oh, will you be my sponsor? And we'll talk about that when I do that special video. But you at least want to start building a relationship and start kind of working the system, so to speak, turning those wheels to where one day you're going to more formally talk about wanting to be them to be a sponsor of yours. So any one of these lists, you want to start working, start building that mastermind, start identifying who you want to learn from, and you could be picking up the phone and getting to know them, and then eventually you might say, oh, by the way, what are you doing? Facebook and social media makes this really easy. So you want to ensure that this map, whether it's for your career or your business, is again a living, breathing document that you're actually acting against. Okay, so you take all these questions, you make your list, and the next step would be, okay, so now I need to start acting on reaching out to these people, having a conversation, building a relationship, getting more specific, asking for certain information or requests or whatever the case might be. Doesn't happen overnight, but proactive planning Whether you're 25 in a career or a business, or you're 65, you want to be building your map of or your circle of influence, because we all need support, we all need help, we all need to learn. Okay. All right. So get busy in building your maps. And I would love to see them if over time, at any time, you could always take a snapshot of them, post it on our Shift to Riches page, or you can even send them to me directly or private DM me. And I would love to see them and give you input on them. If you have any questions on them, just like any questions in regards to the accelerator, then you also can set up some time with me. Go to tiny.cc/Excel call. Now, we're 7 days in, 8 days in. And if any of this is resonating, if any of this, is coming up for you, like, oh my gosh, I want, Bernadette to be part of my map. I want her, lessons and her learnings and her templates and resources and expertise and her community and her referral network. And you want to consider looking at the Shift to Riches Accelerator. First, you can go to balloffirecoaching.com/Rich Accelerator, and you'll get all the details there. But even before you would hit a button saying, okay, I want that, you can also set up one of these accelerator calls with me to get information, to have a conversation, because I really want to get to know you anyway. I really want to learn more about you and then you me, to ensure it's a good fit. But if not, because I've had some people come directly through and go right there. So you can go to balloffirecoaching.com/Rich Accelerator. Let me explain in a few minutes what it's all about, okay? And we're going to deep dive this tomorrow. We're going to go under the covers. I'm going to actually show you online the portal and give you examples of the resources that are there. But it is a individual and group accelerator, mastermind, if you want to call it that, especially this first year, because I'm kind of, I don't want to say piloting it, but I will. So I'm piloting this. So the individuals that are coming on right now and are being part of our private Facebook group that's unique to only them, being part of the portal, being part of the group coaching sessions, they're also getting the benefit of one-on-one coaching with me on a monthly basis for 12 months. So they're going to have an opportunity, just like the training. And I mentioned this, over the last couple of days, all the training that we do, not necessarily this, but they get all of this content. When it goes away tomorrow night at midnight, that it goes right over into our accelerator portal, and members of our Shift to Riches Accelerator have access to this forever. But more importantly, they also bring to me subjects, topics, areas that they want to learn more about. Now, if I have expertise in it, then I will package up and deliver a training program. You might have seen that with the Chaos to Clarity session, training that we had, the How to Write a Book training that we had, and there's been a couple of others. But if it's not a subject that I feel that I can speak to, then I'm going to bring in one of my expert resources and ask them if they have a training or a session, or they can customize something for us. And so that's a huge benefit for many people when it comes to the accelerator, because you get customized trainings. All right. So part of the accelerator is not only those individual one-on-one coaching with me on a weekly or bi-monthly basis, but it's also group coaching on a weekly basis, where the community of people, which is small, will be small for the next, I would say, 6 months to a year. And that's preferred because I really want to give you all my attention and everything that we have. And that's why, this is a great opportunity and time to leverage it. But it's going to also be grouped to where you're getting expertise from a whole number of people. Remember, we talked about building your masterminds, having mentors, and considering who you can learn from and who's doing what you want to be doing. Huge opportunity. So we'll have a lot of that. We'll have a lot of member exchange, so you get to know each other. You can work with each other. You can work for each other, hire each other if need be. So you'll have all the information regarding the people within the accelerator. We have a hot seat sessions where you can bring a situation that you're dealing with in your career or your business, And then you can leverage again in a very kind of popcorn type of way, all the brain of the accelerator to get whatever it is that you need taken care of in a very 15 minute session. And it's awesome. And they're a lot of fun. They could be a little bit challenging, but at the same time, the people in the accelerator are up to that challenge. All right. Let's see what else. Like I mentioned, there's a portal with all the content, with all kinds of content, way beyond the Goals to Riches challenge we've been going over. And I'm trying to think. I think that's pretty much about all of it. And again, you can go to balloffirecoaching.com/rich accelerator to learn more about it. And then come back tomorrow because we'll be talking about it tomorrow during the noon session. I'm just going to, all right. So for now, I'm going to let you go and get on with your Monday. And I'll look forward to having you either at the watch party tonight at 8 o'clock or tomorrow at noon for the Shift to Riches Accelerator Deep Dive. Okay, everybody? Talk to you then. Bye.